Okay, hello everybody. Here we go. I am here with wearing an Grenadier Iron Maiden shirt, by the way, that somebody gave me, and I have no idea who gave
Nice.
something to me. So if it was somebody who's in the chat, thanks. I don't know who it was. I thought it was Mike.
We
And then
still
all of a
haven't
sudden,
we still
yeah,
haven't
still
figured
no
that
idea.
out. That's crazy.
Oh,
Wow.
but yeah, all right. So here we go. So we got a really good fun one, I think. This was Dave's idea. He sort of hit me up on. Well, actually, you kind of just suggested it a little bit, and I was like, "Yes, let's do it!" Right? I was like,
Thanks, man.
"Let's do it." And Dave is always in the chat, so he's always always around. But basically, what we're going to be talking about tonight, we're going to go through some news. I got of course Destro Designs here and GI Dave, and Dave is sort of a weapons expert. You're a qualified expert in all Warsaw Pact small arms, right? Is that
I have
correct?
actually put that on a resume.
Yeah,
I have literally actually made I put it on a resume and I looked at it and I was like achievement unlocked right
yeah,
there. It was a big deal for me and but that ties back to my love and passion of GI Joe to what I actually started doing. So, you know, um I was born in 75 and that was really a good time to grow up as a kid. It's still a great like era, but we had some really good toys even like post 1982. There was great stuff,
Check.
Star Wars and all that stuff, and all of us we love that stuff. But when Joe hit the shelf, man, it changed everything, dude. And like I was saying, I firmly believe that first wave of a real American hero, those greens that tie into Army Men green, was really kind of like a gateway drug for militaristic kids like me in the 80s and our dads that grew up with the same stuff, maybe even served and knew this stuff. It was a step up from Green Army Men, and I think dads wanted to buy it for their kids and kids wanted it, you know what I mean?
yeah,
I think, and I would even go so far as to say, as a military kid in the 80s, I would read field manuals. We'd go in the woods for the weekend and eat sea rations and
yeah.
stuff, you know what I mean? Like we lived it. And like I don't know if I would have accepted my bazooka soldier coming out wearing a football jersey right on the first wave,
Oh
as a military kid. So I look at like the first, first wave, the green wave is really kind of like the breaking of the hymen of getting into whatever they want to do. You
right.
know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Right? Because none of this stuff could have happened without the little bit of craziness that happened in 82. You had some legit fielded pieces of equipment that came out as toys and like the Hawk missile system. I mean, you guys know that is it's still used around the world and it's been upgraded many times, but the Hawk is still a premier surface air weapon, right? So that was real. And my dad, he used to have these cats that came over every week and they'd smoke doobies around the table and they'd ask me to bring my Joe toys down. They were all non-vets, man. And they would analyze this stuff, and I seen it from a completely different perspective. I seen it as really different because I one of my dad's buddies, Ishi, was literally a tunnel rat. And
Oh
when
yeah.
Tunnel Rat came out, I was like, "Look, Ishi, it's you." And he's like, "No, dude, they don't make tunnel rats. It's just it's the baddest dude that jumps in the hole, you know." So, like I said, at a young age, I had a very unique outlook on a lot of these toys because they were more than just plastic to me. They were absolutely real in many ways.
Yeah,
Um, like the Hal. I can I could probably get you to believe that the hell is absolutely real just based on uh on what I know and what to be true. And even as a kid out of high school working as a laser technician, the hell could absolutely be real. And look no further than what's going on right now. You've got literal uh air defense weapons picking pebbles out of the sky, moving so fast. Like the hell has been superseded by imagination, so of course the hell's real, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Cool.
I did get a career in building military and tactical vehicles. Started off like retrofitting Brinks trucks with like really high end trick security systems so that people had a hard time breaking into them. And then we started getting into government contracts along with like high-end VIP stuff, like if Arnold wanted a really sweet Bentley and he wanted 100,000 volts into the handles, we would do stuff like that, crazy stuff. And we did that. So, but then we got government contracts, and probably the thing I'm most proud of that I've done is work on the MCV Project Roadrunner. I was project lead on that, and that's the Secret Service's mobile communications vehicle, and it's with the president wherever he goes. I don't care who sits in the chair. I built the vehicle for our country. You know what I mean? It's not a political thing, but it's absolutely the most technologically advanced thing that's ever hit the road. EMI, EMP defense and stuff, and that was my design. And then we also created a 4-vehicle system that was in direct response to what happened in Benghazi, and that the U.S. civilians know absolutely nothing about. So we actually was a So I do have real credentials. I've got a presidential award for my design on the MCV, and a couple other awards for things that I built around the country, RDVs, mobile HQs, you name it. Really, I've built it one-off. So that's why looking at GI Joe equipment is so easy for me, because most of them are one-off builds, and that's very common in the defense industry. Yeah, you'll have
what do you mean one-off builds?
One-off builds. So specialty vehicle to do one job, and I would relate that to something like a specialty vehicle for one job. I would say would be the Rolling Thunder. The Rolling Thunder. When I see the Rolling Thunder, I see a specifically purpose-built vehicle for one purpose, and that's to assault Cobra Island. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, the way the weight's displaced across the wheels, it's got perimeter defense all around the thing. So you're going to be able to protect your vehicle against AT teams in the field. Light infantry, your guys are going to be able to take care of that stuff. It's going to be moving up with infantry and light armor. Also, you've got rockets, you've got a chin turret, and these are going to be breaking barricades as it advances onto Cobra Island. You're going to have hedgehogs, possible vehicles blocking routes and things like that. These rockets and that chin turret, they're designed to clear the way for the Rolling Thunder to proceed to its mission. Also, it's got 2 different anti-air devices. It's got a short-range surface-to-air missile system on the carousel. It has a long-range surface-to-air missile launcher on the barrel of the 90-millimeter gun, and that's a low-pressure gun. We can talk about that. But yeah, a purpose-built vehicle like the Rolling Thunder, to deliver that on the shore of Cobra Island with minimal support, you are talking about a land battleship that's self-sufficient, brings its own artillery support to the battlefield. When that turret slides back and those rockets come up, those are not nuclear weapons. That is an artillery delivery payload system. Those rockets fire, and 6 cluster bombs fall out of this thing. Cluster bombs are some of the most devastating weapons humans have right now. And Rolling Thunder, to be able to launch 12 independently cluster bombs, is devastation. It's absolutely devastating.
Really? Okay. So that's a legit thing, that you could have a rocket. I know nothing. Okay. So I'm just like, I know the fictionalized bullshit version of the military.
You know what? But that's the beautiful thing about it, Mark, is you can watch G.I. Joe, you can play with G.I. Joe, and it can be whatever you want. If you want them to be lasers, they can be lasers. If you want them to be 50s, they can be 50s. I mean, we have a lot of information on the prints. Rudat and those guys gave us some good stuff here that makes a lot of sense. Hama gave us the greatest storyline. So when it ties together and it works, it's just this symbiosis that he looks at, and it's like, man, I get it, dude. Somebody actually put a lot of time and thought into this, and when I start kind of peeling it back, what I say peeling it back, I don't see the Rolling Thunder being like any type of mobile HQ. Nothing that's going to be crossing the desert by itself. It is such a big target. I want that thing to hit the ground. I want it expending all of its ammo as fast as possible, doing its mission as fast as possible, and the guys get out and maybe use it for cover. And that's how I would see that vehicle. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. When you're saying one-off builds, it's just always the funny adage about government spending, where it's like, why build something for one price when you can basically, they're not reusing molds like Hasbro. They're just do the whole thing again and make a whole brand new one. It's hilarious.
It's way more true than you know, and I could get into that like. I could get so into that people would be bored and turn off. I don't want to, you know what I mean? So I'd rather talk about.
We don't want that. We don't want that. No. Yeah, anyway, so we're here to talk about the various things. Before we do, though, we'll talk about a lot of news just hit. Let's say hi to everybody in the chat here. We got Melted Copper, who says, "My name is not."
What is up, everybody?
It's DIMSA. Destro is my spirit animal. It's not Disma, it's DIMSA. Although I did say Disma once in a video. So yeah. So we got
Night Vision. We want Desert Storm. That's right, man.
We got Cypher 63, Wolfson. Thanks for coming. Just another jerk. Dan M. Glard and Media. This is a student of mine here. It's late. Man.
Nice.
Cal
Cal.
EG Hard, of course.
EG's here. Right on, man.
We are going to talk to the logo, Dan. Yes. Dreadnought E, thank you. Dreadnought E approves of this idea here. Melted Copper says, "Is this a toy channel?" Carousel. Not yet. Are they not actually talking toys? No. We are going to talk toys. We are talking toys, man. That's all it's about. It's all about toys. And we're also, we agreed here before that we both hate politics. And,
yes.
Equal despise of both sides, and move forward and just beyond politics. No politics in my G.I. Joe personally.
Nope.
Yep.
No.
I do this to get away from that stuff.
Me too.
Damn right.
Yellow Martian says, "I'm on the toilet." Okay, thanks.
We support all of y'all and however you consume the show. Thank you for watching.
Or Ezekiel says, "What's up, all? Hello."
What up, brother?
Here we go, Michael.
Or Skizio, you just got a challenge coin today, brother.
Serpentor's Lair is here. Welcome back.
What up?
All right, so we're going to talk. Well, let's talk very briefly about the lot of drops recently. Oh, Michael, I saw you on 3POA. That was a great show.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, sir. Yes, it was very nice of Ryan to have me on. It was a great time. Although, if you watched the whole thing, you saw that I was robbed. I should have won that contest. The puppet was on the verge of making me the winner of every round, but then some little factor would come into play, and he'd be like, Destro's got the win here, but I have to give it to so and so. No, Jeremy was great. Sam was great. Ryan was great. I definitely had a blast. It was awesome. I'm glad you liked it.
So we're going to talk basically about, so we got a lot of drops. We got drops today, but of course we got the Fatal Fluffies came in, proving once again my favorite subject. I am right. I was right about everything. That's what I was wrong. Actually, not really me. Not really.
Hell
me.
Yeah.
Not really me. But yeah. So this would be. What do you think, or what's your feelings on the Fatal Fluffies there, Dave? Or you guests go first. That's a good policy.
So I'm a comic guy through and through. I watched the Sunbow. I adored the Sunbow episode. I love the movie. Okay, it's not that it's great entertainment, but that's not where I get my core lore from. Okay, and I love the voice actors, everything about Sunbow. I still love it, but this episode's where I draw the line. And like even as a kid, I seen this episode and I was just like, that's the dumbest shit I think I've ever seen in my life. I don't like these Minotaur looking guy things. But one thing I fully understand is you've got an audience now with G.I. Joe that's stretching from 82 A Real American Hero all through Valor vs. Venom, Sigma 6, Renegades. There's such a breadth of G.I. Joe fans now that I can't say that mine's the best. Everybody loves what they love, and if the Sunbow fans want that, then let them have it. But I don't think that was a good choice myself. Like, I don't. It's not attractive to me in any way.
Yeah, Michael.
I say that as politely as I can.
Yeah, like to me, it's just like I don't buy everything. Do you buy everything? Are you a completionist?
I was a completionist until Road Pig. Road Pig is the one that stopped me from buying like multiples, like to have one in the box and stuff. So I wouldn't say I'm quite a completionist, but I think that was where I kind of looked and I was like, oh yeah, you guys, you really are in a different direction that I don't have to buy everything. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But I still bought Road Pig. You know what I mean? But it was kind of one of those things where I was like, you know what? I don't have to have every one of these, and I can look at the Fatal Fluffy, and I think it's a great play on Gremlins at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's really kind of how I seen it. Was like I just seen it as a ripoff of Gremlins. Somebody got an idea, they made a show that's cool. I just don't like the design. To me, it looks like some really bad Bigfoot Minotaur in.
That's a good call.
Yeah. Or even like who's the metal dude from X-Men? You know what I'm talking about.
Colossus, yeah.
Colossus, man. He looks like Colossus didn't shave for 2 years or some. I don't know, man.
It's like an Ewok which turns into a Wampa, pretty much.
Yeah, quote that. Yeah, that's great. An Ewok that turns into a Wampa. Yeah, I like that.
What's your take, Mike? I kind of know from people.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like we were into it. We announced it. I was like, yeah, man, I can make it tall. I'll definitely get it too. This sounds cool. But the face, man, that face just turned me off so hard, so fast. It looks awful. Like I stared at it. I tried to say, okay. Yeah, I was like, there's been a few things that I was pleasantly surprised with at the end of the day, right? Things I didn't think I was going to like, but I got it. But I didn't hate anything. Like, I dislike the way that face looks. Now, truth be told, the body looks pretty cartoon accurate. I'll give them that. I'm sure there'd be some merit there. That's not bad. I have to admit, that's not bad. But the face, it looks like one of two things. It looks like a Nordic child had whittled this. Yeah. Oh, it is bad.
So bad.
I'm like trying to whisper.
Move it farther away.
One thing that I would add about this particular figure that I feel is really important is this is going to be a very good indicator for Hasbro of whether a Sunbow only exclusive figure like a Fatal Fluffy is that popular. It's going to be a great indicator for them. That's one positive for it, to where when they put out something this unique to the cartoon, and it's not like a Lady J, it's not like something. This is very unique to the cartoon. This will be a great indicator for Hasbro to be like, okay, cartoon sells or cartoon don't. I don't know.
Yeah, so my take is like, I'm gonna. It's fun. It's fun to have one. It's fun to have the cartoon shit. Yeah, you can make a Viper figure, but it's not. It doesn't fit into my lore. It's like Cobra La is even like too. Like, I like Cobra La, but it's like doesn't fit in the lore for me. But the design is so cool that it kind of works. And the Energon universe works. There's no way to make this work. There's no way. It's stupid. No matter what you do, it's fun though. I don't care. You can make fun cartoon stuff. That's fine. But it's never going to be. The other thing is the price is crazy. It's like $60. It's like $55 for this thing, and they're trying to that's like pet size, right? But that's not.
Yes.
That's an accessory. That thing is too small. It's like they're charging the same they charge for like the Desert Scorpion with the giant scorpion, and or more. And I feel like they're charging for the box. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we paying here for? Is the box, because the box is awesome, and I think that's a great display item. But the other figure, if they had gone more like crazy with it, because he just looks. I think it's just like you're either going to do classified or not. He's too cartoony. Maybe if they made him like a weird, like monstrous thing, and they translated him a bit more, he might fit a bit. But right now, he just doesn't. I don't see how to work him in.
I agree with that 100%, because when this guy was first announced, I immediately said, "Oh hell no!" But then the other part of me said, "You know what? It's classified. they might really make something nuts now, because you got like Monster Force and all these other companies making some wicked monsters these days. And I honestly, I kind of like, I step back from like any type of like negative feeling toward the Fatal Fluffy, because I 100% believe that this thing was going to be radically wicked looking. And then I came home and I was checking and I seen it and I was like, oh, that's a pretty good AI job. That's oh, I seen it again. Wait, no, you know, so it is what it is, you know.
If it sells, we'll get Joe's and Timber in the drag clothes. Kind of want that. But again, it's like I want it, but I wouldn't do anything with it. You know what I mean? Which is, I kind of feel like this guy is going to show up. I think my kids will enjoy him.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like, if you were a collector and your kids seen this, like my kids are a little bit older now, but if my kid's seen this, he'd be like, oh, Dad, you got to get that cat. He's got to fight Roadblock. You know what I mean?
Right. It is kind of fun in that stake, but it doesn't like fit. The other thing is that you kind of need 2 or 3 of them. I feel like,
yeah, 100%.
Like for $55, man, they should have just made them cheaper. They would have I probably would have bought 2 or 3, but at 55, I'll get 1. That's probably it.
You know, I honestly thought like a nice box set with like 3 of them and a bunch of the little guys and maybe some of the little accessories or something from that episode would have been a really nice exclusive. And you could have different faces or whatever. But like a single guy, like you said, if I were to buy those, you don't want just one, do you?
No,
like the whole episode was about millions of them, you know, like they, you know.
I feel like you need 3 for display, especially the little creatures. Like 3 of those guys would be awesome. But for $55, no fucking way, man. That's crazy.
It's tough, man.
I think that box is incredible, though. I love that box. The cereal box is great.
I love it too. I do. I mean, they know how to hit with nostalgia when they do, and you know, nostalgia. Actually, I would argue that there's something deeply psychological going on with Classified that nobody's talking about. That when we were kids, our action figure was actually about the same size as this is to me when a 3 3/4 inch Joe was when I was that big.
That is a very good point.
So now that we're adults, this fits in my hand and articulates the same way. It's about the same size as my fingers in the same way as the original Joes were. And I think there's a psychological thing going on to that. When I touch this, it just feels right. You know what I'm saying? This is bringing me back, you know?
That's a good point. And the other thing is, like, with your original G.I. Joes, there was a little bit of beer goggles going on. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of made it. It was like
beer goggles is an understatement. Yeah, but I mean, Butterface, short fuse.
It looked cooler than it did in reality. You know,
it was imagination goggles. You know what I mean? Like, somebody posted a video or a picture of a 3 3/4 figures, and it was just a simple 2-figure display by a Ram, and I was like, that is literally a snapshot of my childhood laying on my belly. It was fantastic, you know.
Snow Leopard, he made that shot. I know which one you're talking
Okay,
about.
now you're like underwater. Sorry, dude.
I moved it away.
It's so weird. We've never had this problem ever in our entire.
I know. I don't know what the problem is, but all right, there we go.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm moving my headset around to try to get the microphone, you know, because like earlier when I was doing it, I was talking as low as possible. Like I don't know why it came off when I just jumped off and jumped back on. Hopefully that did something. But yeah, I think that was our brother Snow Leopard that took that shot. I know which one you're talking about. It's dope.
It's happening again. Just can you place your microphone farther away from you?
There we go. There we go.
Dustin says the Fatal Fluffy doesn't look cartoonish. It looks classified, and that's what he likes about it. See, like, and that is so awesome that he can see that in it. And I don't have to. And that's the cool thing is like we can all be fans and like this stuff and not like it. And I'm happy that cat has got the figure that he wants. Just like I want Battle of Springfield Serpentor, and probably 99% of the people have no interest in that figure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, let's get through the other couple reveals, and then we'll go right to our main topic because this is what people. But again, I don't know. What are your feelings on this, Dave?
You know what? There's a part of me that likes the generic shipwreck body, but then again, I'm like, I can do that with a Marvel Legends and the Blue Crimson Guard. That's pretty cool. Female, it's not bad. I feel like really they're just trying to sell me on a panel that these three mass device things fit on.
That panel.
I honestly say I'm going to pass on this one. I'm going to play discount roulette on this one too. It's you know, a lot of people are saying this is one of their favorite episodes. I remember the episode, but you know, it's a pass for me. Yeah,
I think this set is another one where it's $65. $65,
dude, man,
that's killing me.
Absolutely awful.
Okay, so rationalize that. Like, okay, so if I've got, so we're our classified figures now are basically almost $27, $28 a piece. And the computer panels, the terminals, what, $7, $8, $10 or something? I don't. It just, to me, it's getting to a point where I'm looking at this stuff and I'm very, very picky on what I purchase just because of the prices, man. It has impacted. When I went from starting at classified to buying multiples of everything to keep in the box and open, I'm only buying openers now. You know.
Here we go. This is a good call. This is the first piece of the mass device. So you're gonna have like a build a set.
Oh, that's smart.
Cool. All right, that would change it.
That's smart, man.
That would definitely change it.
You think they would have incorporated that with like the other mass device characters that were from the Target exclusives? You know what I mean? That would have been nice. Like just keep it in that circle there.
Yeah. Weird. What do you think of this thing?
I mean, now that Laser Pants pointed out that these motherfuckers owe me some money for stealing that face sculpt, you know, I'll just take one for free and we'll call it even. We got Mike Ray of 4961 in the comments says Destro Designs got robbed on 3POA the other night. Thank you for the support, brother. We rallied to get that W somehow.
Dude, man, it's still popping. You could probably just
LL
popping. Because then we can hear you, and because now you sound like you're underwater and it's popping.
All right, let me see what I can do.
It's so weird because it's never happened before. All right, we've done 29. This is like episode 28, and you've probably been on 25 of them, I think, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so.
Right,
that sounds right.
This thing, I mean, the money is just crazy. I think, like, what are you gonna? There's nothing to do with that shipwreck. I don't have anything to do with him.
No,
the poly is stupid, especially if that poly, like, I don't know if that beam hopefully can be removed, because a poly that can like flap its wings would be cool. Maybe I'd buy it for that. Maybe I'd buy it for Cadet Deming, but not really. So
I got double dumped on it because I seen pictures of shipwreck in a chair, and I was like, wow, you get that panel, the chair, that chick, and then I found out you only got the panel, and I was like,
right.
S. Holian is offering you a full briefcase of Woods porn for your likeness. Well, this is terrible. Yeah, just not good. Okay, then we got a couple reveals today. Well, we saw these. We got here. We'll talk very briefly about this because I don't think they're that interesting personally. But we got Snake Eyes and the Ferret and the Stealth Trouble Bubble, which I feel like Michael, you gotta probably love that because the 788.
Yeah, he loves that. He's been calling that 788 for a long time.
Yeah, I'm all in on that. I'm gonna get as many as I can.
And that's a good looking Viper. It really is, dude. It looks like they got a gloss on the visor, a red gloss. I'm in. I think that Viper would make me buy that set.
I wish it was a 2-pack. I would buy that and skip whatever Snake Eyes with green pants Snake Eyes, frankly.
The only thing I like about that Snake Eyes is it reminds me of, I want to say is it the Renegades or Pursuit of Cobra City Strike Snake Eyes that had the green goggles? That was a damn good figure. You know what I mean? And when I look at that one, that's what it reminds me of, but I just don't need another ferret.
Yeah, agreed. Crazy. And then the big one, which is Deep Six.
Very nice.
Yeah. That's
I
pretty
like
good.
that's dope.
That is pretty decent.
So it looks like they even give you a
Welcome
dead
up.
diver head to put in the bubble for you photography guys. So you could have divers going down to recover that body suit with the the dead head in there and
Yeah.
underwater shots.
That's pretty
You know,
wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I
That's
guess
kind of
he's-
what I thought of when I seen it.
Yeah, he's a little low on weapons. A little low on the weapons.
So was the original figure.
That's true. He had no weapons, but
Fair enough.
the original figure is terrible. But still
Yeah,
love
yeah,
him.
well, but them bellows, man, in the bathtub. That was
Yeah,
tight.
that was very cool.
That
yeah.
was good stuff, man.
Dude, Mike Ray, you're selling your classified collection off. Come on. Why? Speaking of which, I did get one thing I just want to like share here with you
Yeah.
people, which is had to. I think one of you pointed this out.
Oh,
3-6
man.
pimped
Very
out
nice.
Destro here.
Woo,
The
child.
mascot.
Very nice.
This thing is beautiful.
Isn't it
That is
gorgeous?
nice.
It is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, everything. The wrist rockets come off.
Oh, dude.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Got a lot of nice details on them. Wired cape, flaming money. A
Oh,
couple of
so
bummers.
nice.
The suitcase doesn't close. Total bummer on that one. But everything
It
else.
does. You have to remove the one piece of foam. There's an extra piece of foam.
Oh yeah, okay, but it doesn't have like a snap shut. It doesn't.
I
like,
know that. Yeah,
snap.
that's true. It is. It should have a clasp.
What the hell are you people thinking with that?
Yeah. And actually, I put mine actually to the forefront just in honor of being on Fogarty. So
Yeah.
so he's over here. He's got my 6. So
But it's wild, man. The okay, maybe that. All right, let's see. Close that. Plus, I can't keep the money in it either. Yeah, it doesn't snap shut. That's crazy to me. That is a mistake. Other than that, gorgeous. The case is beautiful. It's got bombs in it. It's got extra wrist rockets in it. Oh, here we go. All right, there's where we can start. It's got these. I don't know what these packs are.
who's going his belt?
So good. It's so
Yeah.
good. It's so beautiful. It's not really like so. A lot of times I'm with action. I'm a fan of. I feel like action figures they should be posable. You know what I mean? Like you want to pose. I'm not big on statues, but for this guy, I'm not going to play with him. He's just he's pretty much a statue. But he does move, but he's not very mobile. DIMSA is handsome as. Oh, there you go. Thank you. I just highlight that one. Flaming money. Yeah, he's flaming money, man. Not crazy about the Victoria's Secret cape. Yeah, that thing is awesome. $130 right now in Big Bag.
Yeah.
You pointed that out to me. It's probably one of you guys. Thank you. I had to snag one. It's gore. It is absolutely beautiful. It's gonna be my new mascot. I'm probably gonna be using it for like, stand in whenever I can. So I love that thing. But all right, so let's use. Oh, here. All right, here's my first question.
Sure.
Wrist rockets. How are we gonna make wrist rockets work for reality? Because I want some.
Okay. All right. So let's think about this. So if you wanted to make wrist rockets, and from what I understand, the new Destro has mechanical arms. So we're going to talk about a gauntlet that goes around a human arm that you and I could wear. Okay. So
I hate
you'd
the
have
new Destro that has these mechanical arms. Is so dumb.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst things
Agreed.
Larry Hama ever did. I don't know if you were. Is everybody aware of that? By the way, in one of the later issues of G.I. Joe, the newer run, Destro like destroys his hands. He like loses both of his hands, and so he now has robot hands. It's one of the dumbest things that Larry Hama has ever done, and I worship the man. But I will not refrain from calling him occasionally saying he does some stupid ass shit. That is one of the worst things he's ever done. It's like what so unnecessary. It was so unnecessary. Am I right?
I'm not going to disagree.
So agree wholeheartly. Very dumb.
But as for if you wanted to really make some wrist rockets, if you want a warhead on them, so is probably the way that I would do that is I would probably make something that's easy to take on and off in case you have any type of malfunctions with, propellants and explosive devices on your arms. You got to be able to get it on and off easily. In the 80s, you're going to be limited by the type of targeting technology you have. So thermal and Destro's mask is probably not going to be where it's at. These are probably going to be unguided unless he has some sort of maybe a laser pointer on that gauntlet, and you could put a seeker on the tip of that warhead that found that pointer to where when he moved his arm, the rocket would be, so it would kind of be like a guided thing. Another way you could do it is it's basically with chemical propellants and like alcohols and pressurized chemicals and things.
Ooh.
You can actually pack a lot of projectile power with some chemicals and pressures, and just most of the propellants exhausted by the time it's left your arm, and it's achieved velocity enough to go the distance. Like, for example, old Vietnam issue law rocket, when you fire that, its propellant is actually gone before it leaves the tube. It's not firing a rocket the whole time down. It's boom, and it fires a rocket, So I could see that as well as more. So you've got if it's a guided system, then maybe I would put some sort of maybe even a gyro system, but then you would have to have a wire connected to the missile to transmit the data back and forth for your guiding. So if you had a gyro in here and you moved your arm at the target with a sighting system, you could still do that, but you'd need a wire in between the missile and the gauntlet, which is possible. That we do that all the time. Tow missiles, torpedoes, not a problem. Probably the best way to do it is an unguided, probably like a chemical propellant with a solid state warhead. And if it were me, I would probably want to be able to have like 3 buttons on it with a 1 second, a 3 second, and a 10-second delay. And I could hit 1 second, it would count 1 second and fire a rocket. I could hit 3 seconds, and it would give you a different tactical advantage as well. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I could hit a 10-second. I could have a communicate. Oh, General Hawk, for sure, I would love to do that with you. As a matter of fact, here, I don't know, but definitely you would definitely want some sort of stage launched mechanism timing on that. Destro's wrist rockets. Go ahead.
So you could actually. So we're saying it's not impossible. We could do it. He's not going to burn his arm because it's a chemical, not a.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Yeah. Not all rockets like that are really going to be the whole flame thing that you're seeing. A lot of times, some of these projectiles are propelled by alcohol, and even torpedoes are propelled by alcohol and things like that sometimes. So it's pretty neat.
They don't look big.
They have a little name underneath all of us, and I don't know why it went away. But anyway, so somebody's asking you who is Destro? That would be me. But welcome, and thank you. Okay, so that's pretty cool because I really want them. I personally want them. I feel like you aim them like random, like area, just guess, fire off, blow up a car in traffic that's pissing me off, get off a little steam. You know what I mean? I feel like.
You could do that. I could probably do that in my garage with firecrackers and have like a trigger on the same thing. I could probably do that in a week and make something that works. It's not going to look like Destro's rockets, but it would work. If you gave me the right assets and materials, I could actually duplicate what was on his wrist. And I would say your effective range, probably 40 to 50 meters. You're not really flinging that thing really far. You just don't have the propellant. It's really going to be a single stage blast with that thing. But if you've got a decent warhead that's the size of a grenade and you don't have a bunch of frag wrapped around, it's just a solid warhead, that could actually do some damage to personnel. You're not going to take a tank out with it. It's not a shaped charge unless, but
you could definitely cause some serious damage there.
Oh yeah, that guy that you're talking about in traffic. Oh, it would against a car. Yes, HE is good against a car. That'll work for you in that application.
Well, I feel like the other thing is it is just kind of a short range weapon. It's not his go-to, but it's like he's got it there. He's also here's another thing we could talk about that's kind of interesting because I've always loved the idea of his beryllium steel gauntlets, right?
Yes.
So they look very like, you can tell they have almost like ridges, almost like segments, or even like, I'm trying to think. It reminds me of like those tactical pens. You know what I mean? Like they have like that.
Yes.
Those
Yes. How they
things.
will kind of collapse onto themselves.
Yeah, I feel like he has those, because if you look at the wrists. Actually, did I pull up? I think I grabbed the image of those. You know, the gauntlets. They have like, they're not. It's not like a single. You know.
No, it's almost like his gloves are a device.
Yes.
And I think that was portrayed early in the Marvel comics, that when they showed his arms like that, it really showed like these were things.
Yeah, so I feel like he could use that to maybe like, smash pressure points, bash through, glass, bash through, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like they would be tactical, they'd be useful. Let me see if I can find
if you had these gauntlets and you took now there's some really exotic armors out there these days. Like years ago, you only had a couple armors that you deal with. Right now, one of the most closely guarded secrets is our recipe for Chabam armor on the U.S. Abrams. So, like, some of the trick armors that I dealt with was like dual hard, where it would be hardened. It would be a laminated armor, hardened on the outside and soft on the inside, so that it would deflect. And if anything got in through, the soft armor would stop spalling. So it's not out of the realm to think that you could create some very thin but extremely tough, and I like titanium comes to mind, beryllium. So like, I don't know the properties of beryllium. I know it's an actual element, but I've never worked with it. But if it's as strong as Destro says, and he can make it as thin, then absolutely these like gauntlets, they don't have to be armored on the inside. The inside, you'd want cloth or leather or something to be able to operate things, and your armor pieces would be segmented on the outside exactly like a knight. If you look at medieval knights, those guys, those tradesmen that did that stuff back then, those metallurgists, metal workers, absolutely trade the artists. You know what I mean? Fantastic. We've got the DIA here in Detroit, and there's like, I think 9 real suits of armor. And I've stood and looked at these things for hours as a former tradesman. I just marvel at being able to sit there and bend this stuff up like that. So for Destro to do it and make those gauntlets and then integrate now, and correct me if I'm wrong, the one side had rockets, the other side carried a couple grenades, but on the figure it looked a little bit different. It was like buttons, right?
It looked like buttons, which actually is very interesting, because you never know what is he controlling? Is he have like controlled charges maybe around, and he places them and he hits, or is he, who knows what? It could be anything.
Well, it could also be something like, if these are my wrist rockets, maybe he's aiming like this, and then maybe he has to operate them with that. I don't know, but the original Destro figure with, I mean, literally built-in weapons, that was a game changer as a kid, man. Holy cow, that was awesome. Those little tiny molded in rockets gave so much imagination. You know what I mean?
God, he was such a badass. Like, the idea when you also, because you're a comic book guy too, right? You read the
Yeah.
When he first shows him the comic, he's such a badass, because they do a great thing where they keep him in the shadows.
Yes. Even those cartoons, the comic book cartoons.
Yeah.
Oh man, you thought something was happening, man.
Oh, this is cool. Wolfson. Destro is an Italian last name, which is interesting. So it's a lot of people named Destro in Italy. It's their last name.
To seize the opportunity or take the chance.
Very cool. That's where he came up with
I love that. I did not know that. Wolfson, he's a smart cat.
Thanks, Wolfson. Yeah. I didn't put that in my my Destro video, which was
there's another thing to that too, is that ancient armies were, and especially medieval armies as well, but I know ancient armies, I'm a huge history buff. The term despoil was used specifically when your units would go behind your opponent's supplies, and they would piss, urinate, defecate, poison or whatever your supplies. That was the act of despoiling. So Destro's Despoiler is such a wicked name. You know what I mean? Like
That's crazy.
Yeah. You know,
Oh, there's a good one to talk about because I think we're gonna, that vehicle never made sense to me at all, and so
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
like it just I don't even love it. Like I bought one, of course, because
Sure. Me too.
I have mine on order, but it never it just didn't feel like a great vehicle for me because he's gonna like go under. You're too exposed. He's flying around. He goes under underpass. He's gonna rip his damn head off. I mean, like it just doesn't seem like a good plan. Personally, that's
Agreed. But and then I would counterpoint that to that. If you take Destro's Despoiler right there now. The original one, he is extremely exposed. Okay, that we agree in that. The newer one, he's less exposed. Okay, but I don't really see this as a frontline weapon or vehicle at all. This is strictly an observation vehicle for Destro to monitor his forces. He pays Voltar extremely well to run that well-oiled army, and his troops are disciplined. They know their tactics. Voltar knows the game, and Destro, all he has to do is, just like Xerxes watching down at the Battle of Thermopylae, examine how his troops are doing. That is the goal of the Despoiler, and to project morale on the field. When Destro's troops see the power of Destro sitting up there with the cape flying, exposed just like they are, their troops are emboldened, and it is true force multiplier on the battlefield. Absolutely. Morale is one of the biggest force multipliers on the battlefield. Ask any of those meat eaters in there right now.
Which are like the opposite of Sunbow Cobra Commander.
Okay, and now I have a video coming out pretty soon that specifically addresses the hiss. Okay, but I challenge you to just follow me here for 1 sec. So you've got your classic 1980s hiss. Okay, now all of us here are absolutely intimately familiar with this. Okay. This is an extremely lightly armed vehicle. I cannot call it a tank because this really is a high-speed sentry. If Cobra Commander's going to vamps, little towns like Springfield, this is the vehicle you want to get there fast. This is the picket vehicle you want on patrol after you've taken that thing. And it's fast enough if it comes up against, say, National Guard or Joe Troops got wind of that, and they're stationed in this town, this guy can actually... Cobra Commander calls retreat. What if it's not a cowardice move? What if that is a tactical advantage? So armored drivers are taught to angle their armor back in the day. Modern battle tanks like the Abrams don't have to worry about it so much. But back then, when you didn't have reactive armor and Chobham, you would angle your armor because you'd give a glacial grade, which increases the potential of defense of your armor. If you look on the hiss, you see a bunch of rivets right here, which tells me there's a big slab. And on the back, when this turns around, you've got a huge slab of armor right here that tells me that this is a B7 ballistically protected piece of armor tacked on to protect this gunner against 50 caliber AP. And as soon as Cobra Commander calls the retreat order, what if it's a tactical advantage? The gunner turns around. You've got a stable firing platform that's no longer moving. The HISS tank driver's playing Angry Birds. You're presenting a small silhouette of your most critical component that you want to provide your enemy, your treads. You still need to get away and maneuver. That is at its most smallest signature when you turn the HISS around. The driver's protected. I mean, what if retreat isn't that stupid? What if that was actually just like Khan would have his archers attack, feign, attack, feign. And that's not a theory. That's tried and true tactics. So there's no reason to think that somebody else would see that. Somebody like Cobra Commander, who in my book, in the comic, is brilliant.
Oh yeah, in the comic he's absolutely,
he's brilliant.
Yeah,
I try so hard in the Sunbow to try and make Cobra Commander not this bumbling fool, and they keep on fighting me. You know what I mean? But like I said, what if What if when Cobra Commander called retreat, that's really putting your best face forward on your light armored vehicle?
Nice.
And if you're really facing local cops and SWAT in Springfield, all you got to do is have 4 hisses turn around, and you've got these low pressure 90 millimeter HE lobbing guns that are firing at about 120 rounds per minute. There's not any local force that's going to stop that. They're not, you know. So a lot of that stuff makes sense to me, and I can kind of talk my way into like, yeah, I don't want to make Cobra Commander a bumbling idiot. So
yeah.
I'll talk my way into it. You know what I mean?
Here we go. We got spent 22 years in the Army and understand everything you're saying. So nice. R.A. Rain is here.
Who's that?
Oh, all right.
Rain, welcome.
What's up, R.A.?
Who is that to spend 22 years? Thank you for your service. Badass.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. That would be Mitchell. Is it Mitchell? Michael? Don't know. Okay. But yeah, nice. Okay. So all right. Well, I don't know. Anything are there any particular, because we're just calling this shit out to you, and
Serpentor's Lair just brought one up. So what I hear is you saying the spirit using a bow and arrow in a firefight is legit. So anytime that I can fire a projectile at range silently, I'll consider it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime I can fire a lethal projectile silently at range, it has to be considered, even a rock, right?
Okay. Then
so if you talk about a purpose, and that, so a crossbow. When I look at Scarlet, everybody dumps on Scarlet. I look at that figure very, very differently.
Favorite character second.
I see an infrared sneak suit. I see the dark is the infrared sneak suit, dampening infrared, and the tan is probably just points for her to grab gear and hook gear points to. You know what I mean? Looks like she's got a little bit of a recoil pad on her shoulder, but that does not work with the crossbow. So that tells me that she's also doing some sniper work too. You know, there's a buttstock hitting there somewhere. She's got a lot of stuff on the tan parts of her gear. I don't mind that Scarlet, and I think that outfit kind of makes sense. Now the color choices, it is what it is to me. Like, I mean, that might be very well a desert sneak. I don't know.
This explains. I wanted to call you Michelle, but so I'll call you the drill sergeant in the past week. Is it Michelle? I mean, you can have a guy named Michelle.
Yeah.
Maybe you're French. But, all right. Here's my question about the crossbow, because all right, crossbow could be useful, but
Sure.
What about, like, okay, because the way she always worked for me was she's got incendiary arrows, she's got explosive arrows, she's got the grappling, that's the part of the comic book, the cartoon that I like. You know what I mean, she
had an arrow forever. She was Hawkeye for Joe's, right?
Yeah. So, but can you have a little mini warhead on a crossbow arrow? I would say
like, okay, so let's say that Scarlet has the most incredible tactically viable crossbow at the time, which would be, let's say the 80s. Okay, it's the best crossbow. Your range is simply limited by the weight of your bolt. So the more you tack onto that bolt, the less your range is. So if you want to have a spool of wire on that crossbow, it's going to take a lot of weight to pull that wire. You're not just simply shooting an arrow, you're pulling the weight of the string or wire with you the whole time. Significantly drops your range. But look no further than World War II than the SAS commandos that use crossbows extensively. Right?
Right.
So, like, with all the different type of munitions in the 80s, that would probably be somewhat like almost borderline fantasy. Today in 2026, absolute reality. Microprocessors, micro technology, extremely powerful explosive compounds that are made now that weren't made back then, that you can put small amounts of and they do a lot more velocity of explosion. So I would say Scarlet's crossbow, the things that we've seen in the 80s, probably not so realistic. tactical as a weapon for infiltration? Absolutely.
So we got a comment here. This Dave guy makes G.I. Joe sound a lot less dumb. I'm not sure.
Right. Woo!
But
That is the best thing I heard all day. Thank you, my friend.
I don't know. I'm sort of surprised. I thought we would come in and be like, yeah, it's all stupid. It's all fucking absolutely ridiculous.
Well, hey, look, I printed out a bunch of prints, and anybody that wants to talk about things, like some of the ones, one of my favorites is the Mobat versus Mauler. Everybody seems to love the Mauler. I'm a Mobat guy. Okay.
Okay. What's your take on the Mobat? All right. So I have an image of the Mobat somewhere. So the Mobat, my take. So I'll give you my layman knows fucking nothing except what he learned about G.I. Joe. I learned all my military stuff from G.I. Joe, which is actually honestly
that's a great spot, dude.
Yeah, you're like 12, and I knew military terms from Larry Huff.
If you were reading the comics, you knew so many acronyms, and they actually put an asterisk there to teach you. I mean, they wanted you to know this stuff.
Right. Nice.
So
Dreadnought, he's a fan. R.A. Rain says pistol crossbow is made for close combat. 10, 25 yards. Yeah, that's enough. That's all you need.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, and if she was dealing with the finest crossbow of the time, maybe double that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. But, you're talking about the Mobat. The Mobat, when you look at the actual prints of the Mobat, this is not your typical main battle tank. This is truly a one-off build. This is a fighter pilot. This is a fighter jet on treads. So let's think about the difference between the Mobat and everything else. A main battle tank is going to have a driver, a commander, usually a loader, unless it's got an auto loader, and probably either a co-driver / gunner. So minimum 4 people usually to drive a tank, sometimes 5, depending on the vehicle. This vehicle, the Mobat, is what it does is it gives one of our best guys that's ever dealt with tanks the ability to operate a tank by himself. We've got 130 millimeter auto loading main gun that now Steeler's controls are duplicated inside the tank, because here we see on number 24, you've got a swing away periscope hatch. So right there, just because it doesn't have a top hatch, Steeler can turn in and be inside this thing, operate that swing out hatch, and a periscope pops up, and he's operating this vehicle turned in. So he can operate it turned in. So once he he's got 2 joysticks, okay, and he's got his typical visor that we all know. If you look here at number 5, I believe it is the tungsten spotlight laser guidance, okay, that is going to be directly connected to number 26 on the upper right in the subtext, where it says headset, helmet, binocular / camera. A is your infrared lens, B is your zoom control knob, C is your shutter release button, and D is your motor drive. So Steeler's helmet is basically Generation 1, 1982 EHADS Apache helmet designation technology. Wherever he looks, the turret can point at, and he zaps it. He's got a computer that calculates everything that's going on here, and it's one man doing it. And now look at issue number 1, where the Mobat's zipping through, smashing all these things one after another, and you've got the best armor guy in the world, and he's playing a video game with the fastest tank in the world, the most agile. It's got the best armor in the world. This truly is the fighter pilot of fighter jet of tanks, and even to come out, to turn out of this vehicle and use your eyepiece gives you great situational awareness. You can hear, you can see. I'm not afraid of being exposed. Yes, there's frag. Yes, there's things like that. But if my situational awareness is up there and my team is with me, I can concentrate on the job at hand. And Steeler's job would be knocking out enemy armor, knocking out hardened emplacements and bunkers. And with the system that we've got here, to where he turns, looks, and pulls a trigger, that happens very quickly. So your enemy engagement starts coming down immediately. You contradict that with you counter that with the Mauler. The Mauler is actually a true prototype vehicle that actually did get built and is nothing it is not a main battle tank. The Mauler MBT is called a main battle tank, but the actual vehicle was, I believe it was from AIT or AIX, and it is a tank destroyer. In the 80s, the United States military believed that World War III was going to be built on the rolling hills of Europe. So the Mauler actually is what it does is the main gun pops up almost 16 feet, like the old pop-up guns of World War One. Okay, and the Mauler's designed to never get hit, and it'll raise its main gun and fire over cover from a dug-in position, from behind a wall, from behind a rolling hill. The Mauler's designed never to get hit because it's a tank destroyer. It's strictly a tank destroyer.
Oh wow!
And they actually planned multiple versions of this. They had a long Tom artillery piece. They had a fast missile carry version of this. It was going to be really a template for a multi a piece of equipment that does multiple jobs, but somehow it failed the testing stage, and like another piece of our equipment didn't make it. But the Mauler was a real thing. It actually went through the testing phases. You can look it up. I believe it was made by AIX or AIT. Yeah. And like I said, the main gun, its main thing, its defense, the way it defended itself was by staying out of fire, right?
How cool is that they were using all that like real life shit for a little kid's toy? You know, it's so awesome.
Okay. So I would propose that Rudat was a subscriber of Popular Mechanics and Popular Science, because my dad subscribed to these, and I had to read those books every month. Like my dad would say, okay, now it's time to read these books. And I would read them, and like I'm going to say in 1980 or 81, I was seeing stuff like the HAL in Popular Science, you know what I mean? And then a couple years later, we've got a G.I. Joe toy of it. If you look in Popular Mechanics, you'll see the Mauler. And they were talking about it in its pre-production phase, and I seen the Mauler like when I was getting the Mobat, right? Yeah. So a couple years later, Rudat and his team, they put out the Mauler, the main battle tank. Is it the same thing that we made? No. Is it still cool? Absolutely. Yeah. But is it a main battle tank? In my view, no.
Let me hit these. Okay, Sir Petrus has a really good comment. Unfortunately, Steeler has PTSD and now dwells in an alternative universe where he points the Baroness. You just made Steelers helmet insanely more awesome than it ever has been before. Thank you. Says Hasbro, hire this guy now. So
I have emailed Hasbro, and I have offered to donate my services with my real credentials attached to let them know I'm not some pogue smoke, you know, whatever. And I've sent them an email, and I told them I'd do it for free. I just want to fix your damn kid out. And then I get no respect.
It's time to break out some Narragansett lager and a cigar because I'm being taken. Operative D, are you a Rhode Islander? Because I feel like nobody from anywhere other than Rhode Island. Yeah, I think maybe we've talked about this. We're neighbors.
I think that's definitely a regional beer, Northeast.
Yeah, no, you know, well, it's all very popularized by Jaws, because Shaw drinks Jaws.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, okay, well, yeah, I love that. All right, okay. Let's see if you made everything that we thought was bullshit sound cool so far.
Hit me.
I'm gonna challenge you. Make this make fucking sense to anybody.
Got it.
Dave, you can do that. Make that shit make sense.
You know what? I'm gonna make you a believer. Okay? All right, check it out. Now, just like this is really crazy because that you show this one. Yeah. Because my claim to fame that made me extremely popular in the military defense complex was working on something that I had to fall back to hit something in World War I. And I used history to solve a modern day problem. Okay. So what we're looking at right here, the Coastal Defender, is very close to what would be called in World War I and lightly used in World War II as a Q ship. Okay. I actually commented this on your channel. The Q ships were extremely badass, okay? Is what you had was some extremely hardcore sailors that would get on a merchant ship disguised as a submarine killer. And the Q ships would sail with merchant ships, and submarines were their torpedoes were very expensive, and it was an asset you didn't just throw away. So if you didn't have a destroyer escort on these ships, you did not waste torpedoes. You came to the surface, you pounded some holes in the deck or the hull with your deck gun, and you sank them that way. So when you had a fleet of merchant ships and a Q ship with it, the subs would come to the surface, and then the Q ships would drop doors down on the side, exposing guns, and these guys would be able to take out submarines, okay? Limited success, real world, but that's what you have here in the Coastal Defender. You've got an absolute generic box that looks like absolutely nothing, that's probably transporting a bunch of MREs, right, to troops. But then you could have this thing sitting anywhere, and in the blink of an eye, it falls down. And even though you've only got 4 missiles, I see a targeting system. I see a radar. I see him. He is able to target and track at least 1 or 2 targets with that system that he's got right there. Okay. He's got a radar unit that's capable of at least, let's say 3 to 5 miles that he can engage something. So he's really going to drop the sides. This thing's going to flip out. He's got 4 shots. Bam. He fires those things, and it's expendable. It's done. Just like I was telling you, it's disposable, one-shot piece of equipment that is actually common. You know, it's a disposable piece of equipment. The missiles that are mounted on that vehicle cost more than the entire vehicle and the tracking system on it right there, right?
Right.
So if you could damage or destroy some vehicles in surprise, like for example, like if the Joe team got knowledge that Cobra Commander was going to attack a Springfield, okay, and HISS roll up, you've got a couple platoons of Cobra infantry rolling up, maybe Night Vipers recon this the night before, and all they seen was a couple boxes laying around.
Yeah.
When these HISSes roll up and these boxes drop, you've got instant anti-tank or anti-surface defense. You're taking out light armor, heavy armor, and then you just run away from it. It's like a law. It's like a disposable weapon. I love the Coastal Defender. I loved it as a kid because it was a Q ship to me. It was absolutely it was fangs in disguise.
He's got a public school desk. It's true. What is that?
I'm dying.
That's true. Yeah, it does. It does look like that. But as for like a real world thing, I mean, yeah, I could see this. I mean, we've got things that I mean, and you even see it in nature, that things that look beautiful that are actually deadly. You want to fool your opponents. You want surprise. That is your biggest advantage on the battlefield. All you need to do is look to Sun Tzu, and he'll tell you, as long as you make the enemy think he's defeated, you've already won. You know,
right? So
did that help you at all?
I mean, you're still dying. I think
you can't get into the Coastal Defender. I get it. That's cool. That's like the Cobra Rat. There's one thing I can't do nothing for the Cobra Rat. You know what I mean?
It's a piece of shit.
It's a piece of shit. I don't get it.
Oh, I got the ultimate challenge. This is impossible. There's no way you could ever make this sound cool. This is the #1 stupidest. Probably the stupidest vehicle. Wait, let me see if I can find it. Wait, what year is it? #1 dumbest vehicle. Does anybody want to guess what I'm going to say is the dumbest vehicle of?
I've watched your videos. I gotta see what you're talking.
In the take a guess. What am I going to pull out? There's no way he can make this cool. There's no way that he can make. This is the one that you can't. You made the Coastal Defender sound kind of cool for a minute. I guarantee you cannot make this cool.
You got me, man.
Anybody want to
call? I love the pogo, dude. I love the pogo.
The fucking pogo is amazing. Pogo,
yeah, I love the pogo, dude.
But no, it's not the pogo. You know, everybody knows I love the pogo.
Yeah.
This is it. Wait. Here we go.
Hit me.
Hit me. Okay, there's no way. There's no possible way. If you can do this, the Ninja Raider.
Okay, all right. So
Good Lord.
now we're getting into Masters of the Universe territory. If we're talking strict, now
How
I
quickly
never
are you
had
dying?
that. I never really looked at it close. So I'm going to go by what I see here. I see two cannons on the top of it. I see a man on a carnival ride in the middle he's gonna have a rough time and he's gonna be dizzy. But that spinning weapon, yes, it would do some incredible damage. It would do some. I mean, it's gyro stabilized. It's not gonna work. Like it's gonna spin around so much it's gonna come apart because it's not balanced. But if that thing really did whack something, I'd really like to be there to see it because that would be cool. But no, I got nothing on this one.
Here's the other thing: it spins the driver around.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's just gonna it's a puke machine, man. I mean, you're literally flinging puke everywhere as this thing goes.
All right, somebody mentioned another one. Okay, here's one for you.
Triple T. Yeah, a lot of yep. Everybody likes to point out there's a love-hate with the Triple T. I love the Triple T with the nostalgia. I completely understand that Sergeant Slaughter is exposed, but I don't really see this as a purpose-built weapon for Sergeant Slaughter. I see this as like a general purpose tractor seen mostly around Joe equipment used to tow like the any type of HAL or MMS when another vamp isn't doing it. Basically a tractor, but our Sarge may have seen it and that's sweet. I'm gonna make that mine. And then he threw some missiles and some guns on it. But then once again, he is so exposed. Yes, there's frag on the field. It is a huge force multiplier for your commander to be on the tip of the spear. Look no further than Alexander and some of these guys in history. And their victories can directly be related to them being in the front and seeing what's going on and being able to pass communication back and forth.
Well, wouldn't it be a demotivator when he gets killed immediately from driving?
You know what? I actually loved your video when he showed the Triple T in the back, and but that's how it probably would go. But as for like a frontline vehicle, Sarge, don't do it. I love you. Don't get in that and go on the front line. Command your troops. You're a sergeant. Do your job. Make sure your guys are doing your job. But don't put yourself in harm's way in that vehicle until I see you and at least get some polycarbonate wrapped around that hat. Okay.
That's all he says. Galactus's butt plug, which I imagine is from the Ninja pile driver, right? Which because that does look pretty much like a butt plug. Michael, what do you is there a people would comment you're not talking as much. He's having mic problems. Believe me, he would be talking if he didn't have mic problems.
Well, Dave's got a lot to say too. You know what I mean? We're like the professionals.
Don't think that Michael stops talking constantly because that's not going to
happen.
Right. No, but I want you to. What are you most curious about? Because I think I'm not talking as much either because it's just like, a lot. I don't know anything about this shit. I know like fictional versions of it, and it based on movies and cartoons and shit. But you want to call one out? What are you curious about, Mike?
I would say one thing, the Recon sled. Because when I was a kid, I loved that thing. And I just I get the idea. I think the concept is that it's supposed to be like, carry the guys around if it was not a combustible engine, but like a battery operated one that could silently move them along the ground and kind of, I don't know. I was always interested in that thing, but it doesn't look comfortable or safe. That's for sure.
I really like the Recon sled for what it's trying to do. Okay. Now, if you've got any type of savanna, or anything where you've got some grass or even like a sandy desert area, there's a period like 1.5 to 2 feet off the ground that is really kind of hard to see, even from Mirage and just gently rolling hills. And something like this with a periscope to be able to creep around and really just see over the very top of the grass and not be exposed. It's a great idea. The problem is with those front wheels right there, you're not getting anywhere with those front wheels. That needed to be a tread. That needed to be maybe a balloon tire. And then the back tire, that you're not going to get that much friction there. That thing's just going to spin because you're not displacing any weight. That tire's only putting its pressure on an area that big. So the idea of it is not bad. I could even see it being practically unarmed, a strictly observation vehicle with lasing capabilities. Oh, so if I could take this Recon sled and I could cruise it, say, a mile away from a Cobra fob, and then I laze that thing or I type in some GPS coordinates, I've done my job for the airboys. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. And then the Recon sled becomes an absolutely effective piece of equipment. But with what it's got designed going, those wheels, the rear wheel there, that doesn't work. A low vehicle with treads, electric motors, silence, something like that, absolutely. That would be a very feasible vehicle.
It also has that weird back gun that
for its mission, how I would see it being used, I don't even know if I would arm it. It's a toy we wanted to buy. Of course, it had to have guns.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
But you know, I mean,
I didn't buy anything without guns.
No, but once again, if you're thinking about the U.S. military mindset of the 80s, thinking and really the 80s mindset was that World War III was going to be fought in the rolling hills of Europe. This is a vehicle that you could kind of peek over those rolling hills and say, oh man, yeah, you know what? There's 5 T-68s over there, a couple T-72s over there, 2 platoons, and they're right there. Fire. You know what I mean? That's the type of technology that's actually in play when you've got
a gun on it just in case you get caught, right?
For sure. Yeah. You know what I mean? Especially facing backwards because I'm not going to fight anybody in it. And it's got a nice polycarbonate canopy around it. I don't think that's transparent armor. It'd be way too heavy. So that's going to be like a polycarbonate. It's probably going to be proof against 5.56, 7.62 by 39, maybe. Give the guy some time to get out of there. And if you had a rear firing weapon, you could just hit the throttle and just fire and just go get out of there. You know, your job is recon, lasing, and identification.
We got another call. This is a big one. I know you were interested in this one, and we're all fans. This is a much maligned vehicle, and I have always loved it.
Yeah,
HasLab the shit out of this thing. I would buy that in a second. That's a HasLab to me. How awesome would it be? I love this thing, man. But but it's definitely up there with the one that a lot of people would say is kind of seems stupid.
Yeah, I agree. As a kid, I had the Havoc and I did not like it. I thought it was stupid until I started building stuff and I looked at the Havoc different when my kid was little and I got a bunch of 80s stuff back. When I looked at the Havoc again as an adult after I started building some armored vehicles, is what I seen was almost the deck plate of a diesel electric locomotive. Okay, so follow me here. Instead of this gas driven shaft powered treaded vehicle, if we've got a deck plate and a diesel electric generator that's generating power for motor packs that are inside the treads, because look at how the treads move. You're not going to shaft drive those from that motor anyway. It's just virtually impossible to get power from your power plant to these motors. So now I have to tell myself that this is like a diesel electric type thing with motor packs and the treads. Now, then this becomes different. Now I could see this vehicle turning the treads laterally, making very minute, slight adjustments. Now then we look at the weapons. The biggest problem with the weapons is there's no ammo storage. Okay, these are big. These are big guns too. So let me look at the caliber of these. These are 75 millimeter cannons. Okay, So they're throwing slugs out like this. The barrel length is relatively short, and it tells me that they are a low pressure round. So this is it's not a high velocity round. You're not going to be firing armor penetrators out of it. It's strictly going to be a single feed HE round. You're not going to get that trick split feed HE, HE to HP, AP stuff. You're going to be lobbing low, like basically mortars out of this thing. So now I start to see the Havoc in the rolling hills of Europe. If he was in the low spot, then cross country is not exposed to any fire at all. And then he can actually tilt those guns up, deploy this recon thing, which now we know is absolutely possible. This recon vehicle is absolutely possible.
Oh,
so
yeah.
the doors open, the recon sled, the drone that Jetson 1 that we have now flies out. And what if it's got some sort of target identifier system that the recon guy can kind of pop over a hill, see an enemy position or something, hit a button, that grid square is detected, transmitted to the Havoc. Cross country's behind cover, simply elevates and starts throwing some lead in an indirect fire support for this Havoc. So it's never really exposed. As soon as this thing gets exposed, it's dead. The polycarbonate in the front, that is not transparent armor, because if we look 13, it's impact resistant tilt back canopy. If it's tilting, it's not transparent armor, because that's going to be about 4 tons of transparent armor. That's not tilting.
Right.
How effective
it's
is
polycarbonate
armor anyway?
What's that?
How effective would transparent armor be?
It can be as effective as you want it to be. The thicker you go. So when I talk transparent armor, I'm talking about laminated layers of glass with spalling protection in between them. And when you go to your party store in the hood and you see that polycarbonate, divider between you and the gas station attendant, that single layer that's 3/4 is probably proof against 44 Magnum and a few 5.56 or 7.62 by 39 rounds. After that, it's compromised. You gain strength with transparent armor by laminating it, layers to it, and then you're getting to the point where you can actually start defeating light cannon rounds, right?
Oh wow. Okay.
So with the polycarbonate, the one thing that you got going for the Havoc is you've got a decent glacial grade on the front. And anytime you take your armor from 90 degrees, so if I've got a 1/2 inch armor plate here at 90 degrees and I turn it at 45 degrees, now you've increased that. Now you're 3/4 of an inch of thickness, and the glacial grade makes deflection much more probable. So angling is so important with your armor. And what I see here, this could be proof against 50 cal ball if it's thick enough polycarbonate. 50 cal AP will cut right through it. These guys are not going to survive. This is not intended to see small arms fire. These guys are really in the front here just to defend the primary means of projecting artillery support, which be the main guns. You've got missiles that are pointing backwards, which once again tells me this is not designed to see frontline combat. If these missiles are going to be used, it's because you're running away, right?
Interesting. Okay.
So Cobra has actually advanced to your operating area, and now it's time to pull the Havocs back. The Havocs are too close to Cobra. They're too valuable an asset. Let's pull the Havocs back, and they actually have some protection when they're withdrawing. It's not as stupid as it looked. When I became an adult and started looking at it, when building things, I started looking at this like, even if it was electric motor packs in there, and I turned the tread sideways, I could make such fine, minute calculations in azimuth and rotation down to the 1/4 of a degree by just slightly pushing a button. So you might be looking at here as an indirect close support piece for supporting your troops very close in the field, can be rapidly displaced. General Hawk calls you, Cobra's advancing on the right flank, pull the Havocs out, redeploy. This vehicle can actually do it. It's It's a diesel electric. It's probably got a bank of batteries underneath that entire air sled and underneath where the guys are sitting, and it can fly out pretty fast and redeploy to another position. I don't the more I look at the Havoc now, I could see somewhat being realistic and a little bit of crayon eating going on at the same time.
You know, one thing I would say is, we got a couple of comments. This is so educational. I can't make bad jokes. Melted Copper says.
Oh God, give me a joke. I love them.
Yeah.
Hit me.
One thing I would say is, if they do a HasLab, you know, they did things with the HISS where they threw like armor,
The up armor on the front.
Yeah, because you could get that glass piece.
Yep.
Put some armor right over it. You could put like a plate in front of the
100%.
and then now you've got a good. And then you can, and it has to be something you can remove, because if you want the old style one,
exactly what Bobby did right here is, and this right here is one of the most realistic things I have. Is
right,
like
it's actually based on an actual thing.
Like this is my proprietary product. Like Bobby, he may have looked at my product that I used to build, and he might have got pictures from it and came up with this idea. I don't know.
No, he worked with the actual company that made whatever that is he actually has a deal with
this. So he probably worked with the company that makes Bearcats, because this is very similar to like a Bearcat.
Okay.
But like these additional pieces and stuff like that go on this, and the additional guards, this is absolutely the exact shit that I would build, sell to my customers, and even recommend. These additional armor plates that come off. This turret, if any of you guys looked at some of the stuff I built on X, this turret is literally it's ripped right out of the pictures of stuff that I built, but bigger, you know. So Bobby's Vanguard, one of the most realistic things I think that's probably on the market. I look at that and I'm like, he did his research, man. That cat, he did his research. So when you tell me he actually talked to the guys that made that, it shows. 100%.
Yeah, he actually worked with the company, so like
good for him, man.
Thank you, Pop Cult Frenzy. Hello, Pop Cult Frenzy.
Pop Cult.
What up, brother?
It said the company is Resvani. Yeah, so he actually got a license to do it. Yeah.
Which company was it?
Like, not expensive, by the way.
Resvani.
That thing is like, I think you can sometimes find one of those for like 100, 125. Which like Hasbro would never do. A vehicle that size would be like 300.
Dude, I got that Vanguard and all the upgrades sent to my house with a figure for $120 when he had that sale.
Yeah, I feel like it's occasionally on sale. I know I'm shilling. I'm shilling for Valverse again.
I want him to
succeed. Away, brother.
Yeah, I do. I want him to succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Oh, okay. All right. We got another request here. So I love the requests. This is the point of being a live stream, right? We're talking, we get requests. I feel like you're doing if you could do a whole channel on just this, probably.
It's coming, actually. It's coming, brother.
Good.
And I'd love for you guys to be a part of it.
Yeah,
I'd love for everybody to be a part of it. I'll be doing this for pretty much every piece of equipment. I'd love for you to hear what I think about Flash's backpack and a lot of other things, man.
Oh yeah, let's talk. Well, yeah, we'll do that next. But so we had a request, so we'll take the request first.
Yeah, so the request of the Thunder Machine.
Machine, yes.
You think about like the Thunder Machine, apart from the real world vehicles that are actual real in G.I. Joe, like the Hawk, the Cheetah Vamp, things like that. The Thunder Machine right there, if you gave me the money, I can build that. I can build that exact vehicle. And so, and the way I see it too, and I'm a race car guy too. I love cars. So the Trans Am front end has to stay. I'm also seeing, ever since I was a kid, I've seen the body of the Thunder Machine is some sort of World War II vehicle. I can't place it, but the cast body of that Thunder Machine is something, and I can't identify it, but I know I've seen it. Okay. The rear, the jet engine, any one of us can go to a government website and we can actually buy surplus jet engines and things like that. You can find these things that they're not that hard.
Really?
It's not. I actually grew up in Waterford, Michigan by Pontiac Airport, and you would literally see, you know, a radial engine off the side for sale and like old nacelles with a jet engine in it for sale. So that's absolutely realistic. So to get a jet engine on a vehicle like that, it's not impossible. JP4, JP5, the fuel that you're going to need to run that engine, depending on what generation it is not going to be that hard to procure. And with Buzzer being as smart as he is, he could probably turn regular petrol or kerosene into something close enough to that to run on, right? Okay, so we've got fuel figured out, the engine's procurable, the body's realistic, the actual rolling vehicle, I have no, if you give me a welder and enough metal, I'll make that exact thing. The light bar, all that ripped off from the police. Now, as for propulsion, when you push that vehicle, there's something different going on than as for propelling yourself with wheels on the ground. This vehicle is going to handle and perform different than any other vehicle on the road. What is it? Bob Lazar built a jet-built Corvette, was it?
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
So we know it can be done. It can be done. And with the Thunder Machine in particularly, the hardest part of building that is procuring those gauze, the guns in the front. That roll cage thing in the front, like, I think that's even from something. I don't know what it's from, but I think that cage thing, it like reminds me of something that I've seen before. I don't know. There's a lot of smart guys in here that can piece that stuff together too. But as for like, if Mark Fogarty said, you know what, dude, lottery hit yesterday, Dave, Thunder Machines a go. I tell you, no problem, dude. The only problem I'm going to have is procuring those gauze, the Gatling guns in the front, the rotary guns. You know, I could do it with maybe single shot 50s, or we could go black market and you could roll the dice. But you know,
how much do you think that's gonna Thunder Machine run you?
Okay, so prices on some of this stuff's really crazy. If I had to go, like, say I had a government contract and I didn't have to go black market to procure any of this stuff, I could probably build that Thunder Machine without a lot of modern stuff. It would be a lot of off the shelf stuff. I could probably build that Thunder Machine for, depending on the jet engine we used and which ones we purchased, I would say probably about maybe a month of labor on the actual body of the thing, maybe a month for integration of the jet and throttle and things like that. My biggest problem with the Thunder Machine itself is, and it's not a problem, it's actually figured out. If you look at it, the jet engine is actually slightly canted down. And when you're driving, weight transfer is absolutely crucial, because if you hit the gas in a powerful car, you don't steer. Okay. So if you look at the Thunder Machine, the rear jet engine is actually slightly angled to where it's applying some downward force. I like that. So it's pushing the vehicle down and not just going to do one of these, you know, greatest moments in sports, you know, the skier flying, you know, that downward force of the Thunder Machine, that it looks like there was actually thought put into that. Like if we're just squirting it out the back, it's going to be
everything. They really did. They were great.
Oh, dude. These guys, man, they put so much thought into it. And you start looking at these prints, like automatic fire extinguishers on the Mobat, even tells you further that is a one-man vehicle. He doesn't have to get out, you know. I mean, yeah, you've got automatic fire extinguishers on modern tanks, but in the 80s, it was kind of rare, you know.
How fast do you think that thing would go with that jet engine?
Oh wow. Okay. So that jet engine, let's say,
right? They're insane. So they're like, they strap a jet engine to something and they like fucking fire it off, and they're like maybe we're gonna die, but who gives a shit? We're dreadnoughts.
So let's say it's an afterburner. Let's say that's something out of like say that's an F-16's General Electric. The amount of pounds of thrust that jet engine is capable of, Thrasher may not have ever seen 15% of that engine's potential. I think that if you really kicked in the afterburner of that, I think that because the Thunder Machine is so light compared to the fighter, the jet that it came from, that it's going to propel that thing, and you might even see like 5 Gs instantly when that afterburner hits. I don't know. The weight of the Thunder Machine really comes into play when you talk about the power of that jet engine. Now, if it's like a non-afterburning turbofan, something from like a civilian plane or something like that, you might get some pretty good performance out of it. Like that thing might be like a highway dominator and be pretty stable too, you know?
All right, so how much to build it? What's your ballpark?
Depending on the jet engine,
we're gonna kickstart it. We're gonna kickstart.
Yeah,
it.
so let's remove the jet engine from the equation.
No.
So with the jet engine, I'll have to try and procure that. I'm gonna estimate probably $200,000 for the jet engine. I'll build you that Thunder Machine for probably $350,000.
That's exactly what somebody said in the chat.
We're dying. We're dying right now. That's hilarious.
100%.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Public 808 about tree fitty.
That's also from that South Park episode.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's fantastic, man. I'm glad everybody's having fun with this, man. That's cool. What else you got?
All right. Okay. Now make this sound cool. Tell me why this works, because I want it to work really bad.
Oh man. Ooh, that is a sexy machine. I love the pogo. And as so I was a Defiant kid though, so this was really like a lunar lander and space vehicle for me. But it jumped, it hopped, it did all that stuff. Now, okay, so if we're gonna make the pogo real,
because
we want to try and make a real pogo. The first thing that we need to figure out is gyro stabilization. The vehicle needs to know how it's oriented, because this thing has got thrusters and it has to be able to land on its legs. So a complex gyro system tied to a computer that knows where it's at and can be able to automatically correct for landing would be critical without driver input. So the driver might be able to say, I want to jump there, but then your onboard computer is going to help you make that jump, just like, say, the F-16 is fly-by-wire. This would be fly-by-wire. You know what I mean? You tell it what to do, and the computer figures out how to do that. The spring-loaded legs is going to take the impact. You're probably going to have some of the retro rockets, some of the thrust, take some of that shock, and then the springs will compress. But then you've already compressed those springs. You've taken a lot of fuel. Compressing those springs, you've saved a lot of fuel and energy, so that when that thing comes back up and those rockets hit, you're going even faster and higher if you want to. If you don't want to go faster and higher, you have a smaller rocket burn. Your gyros are going to constantly keep your vehicle in line, firing those thrusters where they need to be. And all you have to do, look, I mean, he's projecting a heads-up display 360 on that canopy. So Cobra Commander is literally looking at targets through that gun system, and he can target from 360 degrees while this is on the move. I'd have to look at the prints again to find out if the Pogo's missiles are surface to surface, surface to air, air to air. I don't remember what they are. But if they're air-to-air missiles, gosh, I mean, this would be a nasty thing for a chopper to try and take down in the 80s, because a chopper is going to try and take it down with guns. This is going to be a hard target for an AA vehicle with ballistics. You would really need high speed, high turning, agile guided missile to take this thing down, unless you were lucky enough to catch it on one of its spots. I just see this being a chaos weapon. 10 of these coming at you is just going to be like, I mean, how do you even track it? How do I line my sights up on it? It's shooting at me. Like, I love how crazy this one is. Too many crayons eaten? Probably. Could it be real? Maybe it could be real with the right. Like, I'll take the Harrier for example. You've got your primary 4 jet nozzles on a Harrier, but also on the wingtips, the nose, the tail section, you've got all these vectoring thrust nozzles that people don't know about. So when you see a Harrier and it's doing its thing, it's got about like 16 reactionary control nozzles doing its thing. The Pogo may be covered with those, right? It may very well be covered with reactionary jets tied to a gyro, and all the driver really needs to do is just tell it where it wants it to go next, and the onboard computer system would do the rest.
It would have to do like intermittent spacing in the jumps, so you just didn't, like a video game, catch it on a pattern of bouncing in the same distance and then leading it.
Yeah, or you could even, I could see something, and now we're getting into the weeds, but let's say I want to go for short jump duration and low fuel usage. Might be you'd hit that setting and you'd do multiple jumps to save fuel, or you'd go max distance and you could have a hard burn off of a jump and possibly go maybe a half mile. I don't know. So the Pogo to me is really fantastic, and I see a lot of potential, especially with what we're seeing like now with drones and things like that. Something like this, I mean, it's not really out of the realm to take those legs off, take the thrusters off, and replace those legs with quadcopters, and it suddenly becomes very realistic, right?
That makes sense, though. You don't want that.
Well,
Jeff Moore says, dude, I watch all the stream is fantastic. So we're gonna thank you. Appreciate that.
I love the Buzzbore.
Yeah,
Buzzbore. Yeah, fucking A. Let's go to the Buzzbore.
What I was trying to think of. I couldn't think of it. Save my life.
Here we go. Here's a good one. Crisscross gonna make you go jump. Buzzbore. Yes, the Buzzbore.
Yep, I love the Buzzbore.
Okay, explain the Buzzbore. All right, let me find the Buzzbore. Now, the Buzzbore doesn't make a lot of sense, right?
No, it really doesn't in a lot of ways. If the Buzzbore, we all know it's got the rotating ring, okay, and that's cool. That's we get that. The bottom of it flares out very wide, and you've got your 2 missiles and you've got your heavy cannon on the side, okay. When the bottom flares out, if that is a very aggressive tread on the bottom, I could see the Buzzbore possibly doing something. Okay. Now, if its primary propulsion is that red ring, it's not doing any digging in the ground. It is moving across the ground just like that. And the flared out section is just for stability. And those aggressive blades are digging into the ground, propelling it forward. Now, as for practicality, we've seen this. The Buzzbore exists. You guys have all seen that guy on the internet with that huge wheel machine that he rides in, right? So that is capable. I mean, we know that that's possible. Could it be propelled by these spikes? Sure. Would it be dragged along by these spikes? I don't think so. I think it would end up tumbling. So the bottom would need some sort of treaded mechanism along with these spikes. But then again, I still don't see it being able to burrow through the ground, because anything that you cut has to be the width of the vehicle. Otherwise, it's not going anywhere in dirt, right?
Right.
So even when we see like the rise of Cobra drill tank, that makes actually a lot of sense, because you've got the drill that tapers out to the outside and it's covered with treads. That would probably work as an actual drill tank, honestly, because once you're breaking that stuff up, the treads are getting rid of the material behind you and helping you push through. The treads aren't just pushing you through, they're getting rid of your drilled material.
Yeah, like what if we combined it with General Grievous's bike? Put more of a wheel.
Yeah.
You know, do a little revision on it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
Grievous.
the wheel, but the spikes in the middle of the wheel, like two big wheels, kind of.
That's actually pretty cool. I didn't put that connection together. Buzzbore and Grievous's.
What would the
That's
point
neat.
of the blades be? Like they're not going to cut through anything.
I like it. Yeah.
Slim profile too.
But as for like cruising like a buzzbore, yeah, I want to roll that thing. I want to drive. That looks like a riot to me, man. But as soon as you hit the brakes, you're gonna be that kid that rolled down the hill in the tire. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that one's a little bit. It's hard to realize unless you have some really complicated systems to stop it from tumbling when you brake. You know what I mean?
All right, so Jeff says, I see no issues. You drove one in the NES game, worked fine. All right, let's do a couple more. I don't want to I think we probably could do a part 2 of this. We could probably do a part 10 of this, honestly.
I'm glad. I really and thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm glad everybody's having fun because I love this. GI Joe, and it's my passion. And like I said, like when I built these things. I put the same type of passion into them, man, except for it was real world consequences. I built one thing. We had to procure. My boss did some dirty stuff and procured some competitors' equiment and asked me if I had a problem reverse engineering it. And I was like, "Fuck no, man! Let me at it." So he blue skied me, and he said, "You can do whatever you want. Make this cooler, make it do something that I can sell." And I did, and I turned it into strictly an observation platform, and I called it the Battle Hawk, and I armed it up to a 50 caliber armor penetrator protection, and now it's currently being sold by that company. It's pretty so pretty cool stuff, man.
That's cool.
But like
that's a whole other episode, man.
But it's all, and this was literally something that like you would have seen in a GI Joe boxed vehicle. Like we would have bought it.
Oh, all right. It was 2. All right. All right. Let's. I think we'll probably call it around 2 hours, just because I think we have. I think we could do. Honestly, we literally could talk.
Sorry, I was talking too much, man.
For 10 hours, we could never end. So I think like the only way to do it is just to call an ending. That's the way it makes.
You got
sense.
it, man.
Because there's so much, but there's like, all right, there's 3 more things I definitely want to hit up. So let's hit these up. And one is the HAL.
Heavy artillery laser. Right out of high school, one of my first jobs, my buddy got me as a laser technician. So I was cutting parts with industrial cutting lasers with a HAL. And with this piece of equipment right here, you've got two types of lasers. And in the 80s, the primary laser that you're going to be dealing with is going to be a chemical laser. And that was what I used in industrial cutting. A chemical laser uses gases like argon, xenon, and other things. And there's basically a big supercharger, and they super excite these chemicals, these molecules, okay? And these super excited molecules are then fed into the light stream. Laser is actually an acronym. It stands for lick a stinky erection, retard. No, I'm just kidding. Light amplification through stimulated emission of radiation. So when these particles are fed into this light stream, then you actually become a dangerous weapon. Everything that you see here with the HAL blueprints are literally the same things that would have been on me in my industrial laser, except for ramped up. So you've got, your leveling stuff. That's all great, but you've got a lot of cooling systems, your main radiator, your generator air intakes, generator exhaust port, because once this thing starts exciting these chemicals, it has to cool them. These chemicals are held in a chamber and it becomes unstable, and they have to be released or the pressure relieved. And you even see that, where is it, number 10? Yeah. Systems override tank. Like they even thought about that, because they research lasers enough to know that once you excite those chemicals, it becomes unstable and dangerous. So they even put a purge tank there on a real laser. These cats did the work. He's got a CRT display for aiming. And it's about as legit as could be. If you're talking about range and power of what the HAL could do in the 80s, it's not going to be like what you could do nowadays. But for probably out to a mile, this thing could probably fire, I would say, once every 2 minutes and probably burn through maybe 6 inches of cold roll, 6 inches of slab, just like devastation. A very fast too, a very quick burst duration. This isn't going to be like boop. This is going to be almost like a flicker, like a 0.02 burst of energy. You know what I mean? So the HAL is absolutely one of the things that my dad's non-buddies would look at, and they would say, dude, like, when are we going to see this?
Yeah.
Because because they were the guys that were like, there's a laser at my work. We just got one. This technology was common, getting mainstream in the 80s. So everything that I see here, working laser.
What? Why don't they use lasers?
They do. What do you mean?
Like,
why
how
don't
often,
they?
like, what? You don't see a lot, really. Okay, so the military uses lasers.
3 years ago, North Korea deployed a laser defense weapon that is pretty good. So 3 years ago, North Korea does have a laser defense weapon that's deployed on the field. Israel right now has, I believe, Iron Dome and Iron Shield, whatever the hell they're calling it now. That is a close range laser weapon. These are being used. The reason that they're being used more now is because we've moved away from chemical lasers and we're using pure energy weapons. And the reason we can do that is because of improved capacitor technology and improved conductor technology, superconductors and things, to where we're able to take that amount of energy and quickly disperse it to the focal points of these lasers and deliver that energy. We couldn't do that in the 80s with the technology. What we're doing now with lasers is basically taking your electricity and feeding it down through a tube, and that electricity is focused into a beam. So two totally different ways lasers work, but what we have now is really truly more of a true light laser. And if you think of Star Wars, that's more of a plasma to me.
Interesting. Okay. All right, let's hit. All right. Anything you're dying to hear, Michael, or otherwise?
Really, the Havoc, the Recon Sled, those are the ones that I was real interested in. What about Snake Armor?
The Snake Armor, yeah.
Ooh. See, that's one where you have to really distinguish between classified and a real American hero, because it's really two different animals. The classified mech, I personally am of the belief that the main battle tank is going the way of the battleship. When you've got like $200 drones and $1,000 AT weapons that can take out a main battle tank, I'm not going to be fielding them very much longer. I see the future of combat going to be fast, light, wheeled vehicles and things like that. I don't know where that kind of transition happens. You know what I mean? Where do you see?
Yeah, it feels like it was slow. It's like plodding, walking. It would just not
right. So we're not seeing that revolution in a big jump right at this point. But I'm still sticking there. I'm looking at the HAL. I'm still in love with the HAL too. So getting back to, let me see, do I have prints for that? Which one?
Snake Armor.
That one, I don't think you've got the, you don't have the servos. You're going to be doing it with hydraulics in the 80s.
Yeah.
Human power is not going to be able to do that unless you're doing it out of like lightweight ceramics or something. The original Snake Armor is probably not possible. Classified, probably. I believe that before I die, I will see a bipedal machine of war.
Nice.
All right, what about this? Okay, so all right, 2 more, and then we'll call it a day.
That's good stuff right there.
This is
So
one of
fully armed.
It's one of everybody's. I think everybody loves this.
Yeah.
Thing. This is like
So
absolute favorite thing of all time. Like I can't believe they haven't made this. It's insane that the classified hasn't made this yet.
And this to me is like the thing you should have punted the line with. I mean, this is it. So the fully armed Negator gyrocopter. You know, we've all seen this thing doing like a lot of stuff in the cartoon. We've seen it in the comics used extensively. When I see this, we see the same thing. The driver is completely exposed. But I really see this as a different type of system. In the 80s, we did not have the capacity for a drone, okay? So in the name, this tells you that this is just simply a weapons delivery system designed to deliver the Negator bomb that is called out in the prints specifically. Now, to keep in mind, like back then, to be able to get a bomb on target, it was really different than how you did it back in the 80s, right? So if you had, say, let's see, if we've got, do they call out the weight of that bomb? Specifications is 2,200 pounds, speeds 197 miles an hour. That is clipping for this thing. Range is 550 miles. You have sacrificed all pilot protection, everything from my perspective is a first strike. You're coming in, you're helping out the hisses, you're going to fire your rockets, you're going to do a strafing run because you're not carrying much ammo in that weapon. You're not aiming it effectively. You're going to dump your rockets, you're going to drop your Negator bomb, and then you're going back to base to rearm and do it all over. This is not designed to mingle on the battlefield. And if it does, the most fleshy part is going to be the thing that takes it down. You don't want that. You're not gonna send this thing over, like a regiment of infantry with rifles because it's not going to survive. But if you really wanted to have a low altitude, sneaky way to get a devastating piece of ordnance, look no further than the Fang. I mean, this is it. This is absolutely real life. You've got a main rotor. You've got a rear tail rotor to counteract the torque of the main rotor. You've got a flight stick. I don't see a collective and cyclic, but it's there. Joystick is your primary flight controls. It's designed for your average guy. You know what I mean? You don't need to know. You don't need to be call sign smash to fly this. You can be an average Cobra trooper, and it might even have a basic instruction on the dash. This to me is like a one and done. Dump your ammo, get back, refuel, rearm, do it again.
Yeah. Okay. Does anything like this exist?
Say again?
Does anything like this exist?
We've seen them in James Bond movies in the 80s. These gyrocopters, and in the late 70s, they were really all the rage. In Popular Mechanics, you could actually order a gyrocopter kit, and you could get it sent to your house. So gyrocopters, absolutely real. This particular Fang and its setup, I would say, absolutely could be real and could be built tomorrow, 100%.
Yeah, nice. Love this thing. I can't believe they haven't made it. All right, let's do our last one.
And with that Air Viper to come with it too from the 25th line.
I think I'm going to do a part 2 where we focus on figures. Somebody mentioned heavy duty, heavy metalhead, fast draw, Captain.
Yes,
things like that.
I love that.
Let's do a part 2 though. I think let's leave.
Yeah.
That.
So fast draw, man. Yeah, I've got a lot for fast draw, man.
Yeah,
and a lot of these figures, flashes laser. I've got a lot of.
We'll do one on like manned weapon, rather than vehicles. We'll leave this to vehicles, because I think it'll be better as a 2-parter. But
You got it, friend. Hey, that sounds great.
yeah, let me do the last one here, which is okay. Make this one make sense to me.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So as on the surface, as ridiculous as that looks, I'm gonna have to say that this could be plausible. Now, your primary mode of propulsion looks so unbalanced. I get that. Okay, I do get that. It looks like it's impossible. But once again, if I'm going back to say like the Harrier, I could very well have a spill off reactionary jet to counter that forward movement, and that thing is not, it's not going to be flying. Actually, my trouble bubble's hanging. I would grab it.
It's like hovering.
But it's not going to be flying like this the whole time level, right? So for you to get forward momentum, it has to tilt forward to get forward momentum speed, right? So you're going to need some sort of reactionary jet in the front that spills off from this. If you don't have that, it's completely impossible. It doesn't work. But I like what I see, what the driver's got. Situational awareness. He can see everything. He's got a controller that's controlling his cannon. I believe that if I don't have the prints printed for the trouble bubble, but those may be guided missiles via that controller that he's using, which would be really dope. Yeah. So when that thing starts flying, it's going to really pitch forward. It's going to pitch forward. I mean, it has to use that primary propulsion to get itself moving. So, I mean, on the bottom of it, if there's some sort of reactionary jets to balance it out, that reactionary jet doesn't necessarily need to actually always be balancing that front thing when it's really just kind of keeping the nose up. I don't see any type of aerodynamic lifting body potential for it. So you're not going to get any type of lift out of this thing. Your primary propulsion and lift is the engine. Unfortunately, what you see here, as soon as you fire that thing up, you're doing cartwheels, man.
Yeah.
But if you were able to, and that's the problem I have with this one, is your primary propulsion unit's detachable. If they would have had the primary propulsion unit to where it's integrated into the trouble bubble, I would say that yes, you actually do have pipelines and feedways right through there for reactionary control jets for the front, and then absolutely feasible. If we say that no, that's not detachable and it's part of that and it doesn't come off, only maybe it comes off for service, then those Venturis and those channels are extremely possible, and it could happen. So I like possible within the realm of did they consider reactionary controls? If they did, then yes, absolutely that could work, and it would be a great platform if somebody could actually use it. Once again, you'd really need some gyros and some like BCMs to help you control that thing, because a human operator is, you want to take the human interaction out of that vehicle. You want a CPU controlling that, but I wouldn't say out of the realm of possibility. Especially today. What they're doing with power packs on the back of that, the amount of thrust that put out in the 80s, they're doing with probably 30% of the weight now, right? With ducted fans and things like that. So it's not out of the realm of possibility to say that I could build a trouble bubble with a couple ducted fans on the back and then add a ducted fan or two in the front. But then we're talking about a quadcopter, and that's exactly what that is, and then it works,
Yeah.
It really does. The only problem that we've got with the flight pod is the unbalanced propulsion, and if we do have reactionary control balancing jets, if we do, then it's feasible, I would say.
Yeah, no, I think it still feel like you're gonna die. I feel still.
Oh yeah, dude, no, you got balls of steel to fly in that thing.
You're moving slow. You're a target. You're just not.
Yes.
You're not very I don't know. It doesn't feel like you could dodge easily. I don't know.
And the other thing about it too, that's odd, is if you look at the polycarbonate canopy, you are protecting that driver from so many wrong angles. Like, I don't know why you even put that on there.
Yeah.
If you're protecting him from a plane strafing you or frag above or flak, I don't know, but you know, it would have been much smarter to make some Kevlar skirts or curtains just to catch frag and stuff for his leg. And you know, that like I could do something way easier than the weight of that polycarbonate and make that guy happier.
They got these in Dubai, really? Oh, we can ride them. Yeah, I've seen like a version of something that flies exactly like a bubble bubble. Although it has more of a, I think it's propulsion's underneath, which makes more sense.
That's what I'm saying. You got to balance it, you know.
Yeah,
and if you got that balancing set, that's feasible.
But it does float in the same way, like it's almost like, you know. So
yeah. And look at like Jetson 1, dude. Like, man, talk about something that like a geek would want to buy, man. Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, we're in the age, dude. When I was a kid and me and my crew were on the playground, the most outlandish thing we could come up with was an RC Hot Wheels. Okay. Not only have we built it, it is retailly available for under $20. So we have surpassed my kid imagination years ago. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, you think about it. That's one of the things I loved about G.I. Joe in the early days was that it felt like it was just like a hair science fiction. Like almost, it was almost like it was like 5 years from now. It was like you had things like lasers, like a laser rifle. That's coming. We have it. Thing like a bat, the Battle Android Trooper. I mean, that basically exists. Like we know, you know, we know it's coming.
Mike did a great article on the bat, and you know, the way they allowed us to shred a humanoid on screen was brilliant. It was fantastic. And coming off Terminator, when it was just awesome.
Yeah. So fucking cool. Yeah.
And you know, you think about bats, dude. We're seeing those every day. They just
totally.
Every day you're seeing a bat.
Yeah.
Something coming out of Boston Dynamic every now and again. You're like, Jesus.
Terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
Absolutely. Yes.
Combine with AI and we're screwed, you know.
Basically.
Talk about him.
Oh yeah, nice.
Did you get yours, Mark?
No, I did not.
No, you didn't. Okay, so I'm gonna like straight up. This figure is what I'm gonna say, like, wow, for something that we have all, like, I'm not gonna say all, but so many of us have hated like that figure for so long, and now I've got this. What is this? A 36, 7, 8-year-old design now, realized in 6-inch form. This is fantastic, dude. Bring on Ice Cream Soldier. Bring on
Ice Cream Soldier. Honestly, his name is stupid. His file card is really fucking stupid. But his look is not terrible.
No,
his look could work.
Now I will add that his code name is actually a term from World War II. Yeah. Okay, so you know that,
I do know that. But then it's like you pair it with the file card, and he's like, "I love ice cream."
Yeah, why do you guys do that?
Right.
You can tell here, like, Hama has left the building. You know what I mean?
I know. I really want to make a Ice Cream Soldier comic book where he is like fucking just a psychopath, and he just wants to burn cobras. You know what I mean?
right.
I'm in, dude. That sounds great. Yes.
He's got like a necklace of ears underneath that suit
all time. But
it's
a lot of ice cream. And Scarlet, they're making dump truck Scarlet, but they're not giving her the dump truck, which is sad.
That is sad.
But all right. Well, this was awesome. Yeah, really. This is fun. Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me, Mark. I really enjoyed it. I enjoy your shows. I'm a fan as well. And Destro, Mike, thank you very much for coming on as well. Sorry, I talked too much, man.
No, you good, brother. You got a lot to say, man. It's all good.
Well, you know what?
I'm here talking every week.
One bonus, you're gonna have a voice tonight.
yeah, it's true.
Nice. That was fun. Anything going on you want to?
So right now I'm right in the middle of working with a buddy and I'm going to be putting out YouTube content for doing exactly what we're doing right here. And I'm going to start peeling back some of these vehicles. And I'm going to target maybe like 15, 20 minutes. I could literally talk about each one of these for hours, days, right? So just like you said, there's got to be a cutoff point. So that's what I'm wrestling with now. And then obviously some of this is new to me, like look at you guys with your fantastic lighting, and I'm looking here like powder. So I'm still working on some of that stuff.
Well, we don't have at all.
So but yeah, well, I'll have some stuff out soon, and I'm always on X, lightly on Facebook. I don't like looking at other people's meals, but I'm usually looking at the Joe stuff on Facebook. But by all means, if any of you guys have any questions, comments, tell me where I'm wrong, tell me where I'm right. I love to hear from that stuff. Hit me up on X at GI Dave. I'd love to hear from you. And like I said, once again, Mark, thanks for the opportunity, dude. Like I said, I'm a fan. I've said in your comments before that when you're having your videos, a lot of us just feel like you're just kind of sitting there talking to us, and we love that, man. We really do. You got a good job. You got a good thing going on there. And just like Destro shows every week, we become this community that I'm feeling better about every day, because Mark, man, you were there, dude. Me and you have been bantering back and forth for years. And remember the movie times, dude. You remember how toxic the movie times were?
Oh
and things like that. Yeah. Like right now, this is one of the best times that GI Joe's had.
Yeah,
and, I mean, probably since the 80s, really, if you think about it.
And I actually predict that because they just like confirmed the Energon cartoons coming.
Yeah,
that is going to change things. GI Joe will be, it's like you got to think about it. Like I don't because I'm around teenagers a lot. Just like trolling. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a teacher. I just hang around, teenagers. No, I'm kidding. They're Invincible. Invincible is one of the biggest things in the.
Yes,
it's like they like Invincible. They like anime. So Kirkman is like the most important creator out right now. He really is like one of the most. The fact that he's doing a Transformers GI Joe crossover. And then when that cartoon comes out, it's going to have the same style feel as Invincible. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be
what?
I think so. I think it's going to be bloody. The cartoon's bloody. That's going to change. I think you're going to see a lot of people are going to be big GI Joe fans.
See, and that's the thing is like GI Joe is not just the 80s, okay? And after you get to a certain age. And you see the breadth of GI Joe. It's there's so much Valor vs. Venom, Sigma 6. There's all of it now, and GI Joe, a real American hero. I have no problem with it staying in the 80s, and I prefer it to stay in the 80s and classified. And a new GI Joe needs to emerge for a new brand, the new fans to cling to. Dude, like nobody is in 2026 going to look at Shipwreck and be like, yeah, he's a Navy SEAL,
Yeah.
Times have changed. GI Joe has to change just like it always has, but we can still enjoy our retro stuff too. And that's what has to happen. So,
but I think you're going to see anybody who's reading the Energon comics will tell you right now that the story, it's incredible. So it's like they translate that into a cartoon. Plus, its Transformers is bigger than GI Joe. It's not as interesting in my opinion, but it's bigger. So you combine the two, it's gonna be huge. Next 5 years, it's gonna be blown up even bigger than it already is.
That's nothing but good news, man. That's awesome.
All right, Destro, you got anything? I'm sure you got a million things going on. What do you got?
Same old. Destro Designs, Viper Den Studios. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Looks like I just signed up for Threads also, so it looks like I'll start posting some stuff over there. Catch me here. on Monday nights, Saturday nights over on my own channel, Destro Designs. Usually Saturday nights at 8 o'clock, and you can find I'm dropping articles for Serpentor's Lair on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Oh, this is a good point. Gabriel Rare says you're worried they might have to cram too much stuff. You know what's really fascinating about the way that if you're reading the Energon comics, they've used 15 characters right now, and they're like slowly late. Snake Eyes is not even shown up yet.
Yeah, this is the one where Rock and Roll died right away, right?
Yeah, Firefly has not shown up yet.
That's crazy.
They're like doling out your characters in these tiny little doses, and it's really good because you're like when they find like Crystal Ball showed up this week, and you're like, oh, that's awesome, but it's like he has not been there, you know. But they have not even hit. Like Zartan just showed up, so it's very slow rollout, which is really very good. Well, yeah.
Now, are these Hama based characters? Or are these all new characters?
So it's completely new. I mean, they definitely take cues from Hama. You can tell love them, but they're reforming them. They're making
so it's new. Okay, and you know what, dude? Then if it's
Commander
that
is Cobra Law, it's a Cobra Commander.
Okay, then you know what? Then I'm gonna if show's coming out, then I'm gonna have to hit my local comic shop and get up to speed then because I'm not falling behind on that one. Then
you can also read them all for free online, but. Well, you should pay for it. You should.
Yeah, I should.
Maybe if you don't want to pay for the back issues, you're 20 issues deep right now. But all right, well, what do I got going on? I'm working on the mythology of sectors.
Nice.
That's awesome. The mythology of Operation Recall, which is a thing done by 3D Joes, and Savage Crucible, 2 modern toy lines. So that's
nice.
That should be coming soon.
That's awesome. Savage Crucible is doing some awesome stuff, man.
And I've started collecting them. I really like them.
And that's that. Like when I talked about like what I thought a Fatal Fluffy was gonna come like that, like Savage Crucible, like I was like, okay, like this Yeti thing that I seen, this abominable snow, like those figures, like wow, okay, now I'll give Fatal Fluffy a chance, and then it was the cartoon when I was like, damn, I really thought it was going to be like this mean old Yeti looking thing like that. But it is. Hey, if the Sunbow guys like it, this will be a great indicator for Hasbro. That's all,
Warriors Symbion. You got to love the Warriors Symbion. Yeah. You got to catch the Energon comics. They're so good. I really was cynical because I was like, I don't like Transformers in comics. I don't like Cobra Law I like them. I like the design, but I don't like them. I like Cobra Commander to be the used car salesman. Read it it's probably my favorite version of Cobra Commander. He's
me too
version of it. He's so scary in it, but even though I don't really like the Cobra Law, I think it's kind of dumb. Energon Universe, they do it so well, and it all fits together really nicely, and it feels really cool.
But the origin of Cobra Commander in the 80s is so realistic because we also grew up with Amway. And all you had to do was look at Amway, and it was practically everything Cobra was doing in the comics, selling, right? I mean, it's
shameless plug. I did make a video on that, which I used all footage from Peaky Blinders, and I used Cillian Murphy to play Cobra Commander. If anybody should watch it, it's a good one. It's a good one.
It's excellent.
Like all my lowest performing videos, I do these like. The story ones, everybody who watches them likes them, but they're very low on the watch.
Really? How did your buzzer one do? Because that's one of my favorites.
Probably it's probably my favorite video I've ever made, and it's 4,000 views, which for me is
you know what? Dude, you researched that character so well. You went through so many comics. I know what you did to produce that, and I tell you what, you hit it. You were banging on all 8, and I loved it. That's weird, man. I'm surprised.
Yeah. And I footage of Julian Sands to pull all these different movies. It was a lot of work. But I do want to do another one. I think the next one I'm going to do, I might do one on how Cobra is funded. So that's probably what will involve.
Oh man, yeah, dude. So like that whole Amway thing, dude. That angle that was real to us.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Dude, I'm always so shocked at the one the ones you say don't do well, I'm always so shocked because of like some of your best ones. It's crazy.
Thanks, Operative D. Yeah. Yeah, they don't perform well, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. They don't all have to perform well.
That's one of my favorites you've done. So I find that surprising.
I think my Cobra, the Cobra Soldier one, I did the 3. I've done Cobra Commander, Origin, Movie Story. I've done the Cobra Soldiers one, which I pulled from images from City of God. That is like one of my favorite videos too.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, those 3 are, but none of them do well. But who cares? People enjoy it. That's all.
We're having fun, man. Having fun. That's what it's about, brother.
Yeah. But all right. Well, thanks so much. Yeah, let's do a part 2. Maybe focusing on characters.
Dude, I'm in, dude.
Part 10, honestly. So, but yeah, awesome. All right. Well, we'll call it a night, guys. Everybody, thank you for coming.
Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. Mike, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. Have a great night.